the voices of young Muslim women from Blackburn still ringing in my ears, that's one of the issues I wanted to explore with politicians from the three main parties back in London. Paul Uppal is the first Sikh Conservative MP. He won Wolverhampton South West at the last election. It's the constituency Enoch Powell represented when he notoriously made a speech predicting that mass immigration would bring rivers of blood to Britain. And it now has about 30% British Asian voters. Seema Malhotra comes from a Hindu family, and she won the Feltham and Heston by-election for Labour last December. Her constituency is about 40% Asian. Ihsan Ghazni is a Muslim, and he's chair of ethnic minority Liberal Democrats. He's a former Nottingham councillor, and he left Labour for the Lib Dems because of the Iraq War. Now, the Tory party's Director of Strategy inside Number 10, Andrew Cooper, recently gave a presentation to Tory MPs called "The Number One Driver of Not Voting Tory is Not Being White." Was this right? I asked Paul Uppal.
It is a big problem. I was in the room when Andrew actually made that statement, so I can verify it did actually happen. But if you look at my own constituency, Wolverhampton South West, it's an urban seat. One of the seats which we probably found difficult to sort of win in 2010. But my result actually shows we can actually make headways, and how we do that is about talking about common values that we share with the South Asian community.
But interestingly, if you look at the last general election study, you find that South Asian voters ideologically are actually closer to the Conservatives than they are to the Labour Party, and yet they're twice as likely to vote Labour.
The problem is that when you then peel that back and talk about policies and say these are Conservative policies, there seems to be a reticence there. So it's about an outreach programme of talking about those shared values.
Seema Malhotra, now you're a Labour MP, and Labour traditionally has done extremely well with Asian voters, but we've recently seen Bradford West, where you lost a safe seat to Respect.
I think there are some fundamental issues, some fundamental principles that perhaps we need to look at again in politics, and how we're working at a local level to make politics feel local and about local people and improving local people's lives. I do think that where Labour has been strong is not in saying we're going to target voters, but actually to have something that's in Labour's DNA. Valuing difference has been in Labour's DNA. It's through the race relations legislation that we have brought about. It's through the way we've had positive action measures within the party. It's actually said, unless you have a level playing field, people don't have the opportunity to get on. And when you talk about South Asian communities being closer to Conservatives, well, I think that's drawing a very superficial distinction if you're saying that people who are from a business background might be more traditionally Conservative.
Ihsan Ghazni, we heard in Blackburn that the Liberal Democrats there had a bit of an uptick in support in 2005 because of the Iraq War, but that's fallen back again. Now that is slightly the position nationally too, isn't it?
It is. I think one of the reasons why that position has fallen back is because we didn't manage to make the breakthrough in 2010 and elect any Asian members of parliament. And one of the things that we have to be clear about with the Liberal Democrats is we are the smallest party. We don't have tribal voters, such as the Conservative Party have tribal voters, Labour Party have tribal voters.
Seema, can I just ask you about the young Asian vote? Because that was something that we really noticed up in Blackburn, was how young voters, and particularly young female voters, didn't like being told how to vote by their elders, didn't like their vote being taken for granted by the Labour Party. And I think that's what we also saw in Bradford West.
And I welcome that. I think it's incredibly important that people think for themselves, and people saying it doesn't always matter which party you're going for, but we want to see greater representation because that's part of being in Britain and part of playing a part in British public life. But I do think that there are some subcultures that need to be addressed.
And what's your view about postal votes? I mean, they were made easier under the Labour government. Most of the scandals have been to do with Labour councillors or Labour candidates. And we heard from these young women that they had had a lot of pressure put on them to vote in a certain way on a postal ballot.
Where there are abuses of that system, we have to clamp down. And where it's taking away the right of people to cast their vote in private, we absolutely need to look at that and say we're not going to tolerate that. But that doesn't mean that postal votes are all bad. They've actually enabled many who wouldn't be able to vote otherwise come into our democratic system.
Paul Uppal, how have you found the vote fragmenting in Wolverhampton? Have you found young Asians more or less likely to vote for you?
If I could look at any point where I felt that I managed to sort of get a lot more support, particularly it was amongst the young South Asian community. I was in the centre of Wolverhampton with one of my colleagues, a South Asian young man whose first name is Jonathan, and we were having a meal together. And he went to order some more food, and there were about 4 or 5 young South Asian men in front of him, at which point one of them said, and I'm going to do this verbatim, he said, "That guy over there is Paul Uppal. It's good to see a blood can become a Member of Parliament." I raised that because a couple of points. A, I think I'm one of the few Conservative members who'd actually know what that meant, but it's good to see one of your own can actually become a Member of Parliament. But secondly, Jonathan came and said, he goes, "Look, Paul, you don't realise you're a role model to so many people out there." And I think, particularly amongst young South Asians, the feeling that I got was they didn't want to have their vote taken for granted. And I think that came through the piece as well. They genuinely want to feel that there's an auction for their vote.
Ihsan, you had a great advantage as a party in being against the Iraq war, and you were therefore the repository of a lot of protest votes from the Asian community who obviously felt very strongly about Iraq. You've no longer got that advantage, and Respect seems to have stolen it from you, hasn't it?
The lessons from Bradford are not that Respect have stolen the votes from the Liberal Democrats. I was in Bradford during that period, and I actually was on the ground and I watched it all unravel. Basically, people were very, very angry at the years and years of Labour MPs locally who took their votes for granted. They were angry at the community leadership who didn't stand up for their needs when there was a need for them to do that.
But there was a lot of foreign policy there too. I saw George Galloway's election leaflets, and he talked a lot about bringing our lads back from Afghanistan, for instance.
He used all of that to tap into the anger. And the anger was much more about the rotten nature of the local political elite and the way in which they were selecting people who weren't capable of going to Parliament, but who would get through on the nod with the big vote bank that Labour took for granted. And this was a response to that.
That's taking a perspective that doesn't recognise the really tough economic issues that are faced by people in Bradford West who, you know, a big message was they wanted a change, and this was a way in which they felt they could do that. And
well, Labour should be representing their tough economic concerns.
And you're not giving people choices. It's the Labour establishment within those communities that has to change, surely.
If you're saying that where there are safe seats, that parties are not having the right competition to get the best candidates, I think that's a question for all political parties.
I'm saying the Labour Party take the South Asian vote for granted.
Yeah, we heard that particularly in Blackburn.
Well, and in that case, you know, if you're talking about lessons for political parties, in this case it's Labour, but there are other seats.
Labour, not for other political parties. You're the ones you're the recipients of the support, not the other parties.
Certainly in Bradford West, Labour has said there are lessons that need to be learned, but I think it's lessons that need to be learned for all political parties.
I'm interested in how much foreign policy will play a role at the next general election, because David Cameron says he wants to bring all British troops out of Afghanistan by 2014. The election, in theory, won't be till 2015. Paul, you're from the governing party. Do you think by then it will be much less of an issue?
It depends, I think, in terms of what happens with Iran, because that's on the horizon as well. And I think that is an issue that may become much more at the forefront of people's mind. Iraq was very much a seminal moment, I think, for many, many voters. And it's still very raw in people's memories. I think the situation in Afghanistan is one that, again, I'm asked about continually from my constituents as to when we're bringing our troops home. Does it affect voting intention and how people perceive politicians? Of course it does.
I think Paul is right. It depends on how the Iran situation unfolds. But in terms of the existing conflict in Afghanistan and with regard to Iraq, certainly within the Muslim communities of this country, it's still very, very raw.
Seema?
I would say there's one additional point about foreign policy that we often miss. We still tend to separate foreign policy and domestic policy in elections. But for many people, if you're part of a diaspora community, what goes on in maybe the country that you came from where you still have family makes foreign policy here very much still a family affair.
OK, I'm going to put each of you on the spot. Brief answers, please. What's the biggest thing that your party could do to reach out to Asian voters? Seema?
Listening much more and not taking anything for granted, and recognising that people are different in the next generation.
Ihsan?
It's about saying, let's deal with the main issues, but let's be much more culturally sensitive about how we approach these communities.
Paul?
It's a long journey for the Conservative Party. We could learn an awful lot from the Canadian Conservatives, our counterparts. One of their ministers is a guy called Tim Uppal. He's from the same village as me in North India. He's got a beard which comes down to his midriff, and he wears a turban. Maybe it'd be quite nice if somebody like Tim Uppal could be sitting here and doing this interview. Maybe that would show somewhere about how far we've gone as a party in reaching out.
Paul Uppal, Seema Malhotra and Ihsan Ghazni. So all three